Today we're going to be going over Dashlets and Dashlet tabs. Dashlets are very important because as soon as you log into the system, that is the first thing that your users will see. Out of the box here, you'll see some of the default Dashlets, the My Top Open Opportunities, My Leads, and then Sugar News, all of Sugar's top headlines in the news. So in this tutorial, we're going to go over how to customize, move, and set up all of these Dashlets and Dashlet tabs. First, let's go over the layout of Dashlets. You'll see here along the top navigation that you have two options here to add a new Dashlet or change the layout. Right now we're set up with a 2x1 layout, but you can easily change this to be anything you want. So if you wanted single Dashlets across the page set up much like the list views, you can set it up that way. Or if you wanted to span 3 separate Dashlets across the same page, you can also set it up that way. And everything is customizable per user, so whatever you select here will not be pushed out to any other users. So we're going to go ahead and change it back to the 2x2, which is my personal favorite. Let's go ahead and add a new Sugar Dashlet to our Sales tab. So by clicking on this tab, will navigate us to this new Dashlet page containing a whole different set of Dashlets. And we'll see here over in the navigation, all you have to do is click Add Sugar Dashlet. And for this example, I would like to see all of the accounts that I own. So all you have to do is click the My Accounts link. And you'll see in the background that that Dashlet was added automatically. So if there were any additional Dashlets that we wanted to add here, we could do that within this dialog box before it closed. Besides just seeing lists of other records and other modules, there are different types of Dashlets such as charts. These are all the ones out of the box, but any charts that you make out of custom reports, you can also select those charts and add those to a Dashlet. And then there's various tools that you can add, such as the Space Invaders game, or a simple notepad if you like to keep track of your notes pen and paper style. And then lastly here, you can include links to any other outside web pages, or you could provide RSS news feeds. So say we wanted to keep track of Sugar CRM's homepage and add that as a Dashlet. That's as simple as providing the URL to their web page and clicking Add. Then you'll see here we now have Sugar's new website iframed into this Dashlet, and we can navigate around. But we're going to go ahead and remove that for now. All of the columns we see are the default columns out of the box, but you are not restricted to these columns. So you'll see here, hovering over the top bar that says My Accounts, you'll see 3 buttons that appear. The button on the left will allow you to edit the Sugar Dashlet. The button in the middle will refresh this data. And then lastly, the last button is to remove the Dashlet from the Dashlet page. So we're going to go ahead and hit this Edit Sugar Dashlet button, and you'll see all of the options you have to editing this Dashlet. So we can change the name of this Dashlet. So if you wanted to do My Accounts that have revenue greater than 100,000, you can have multiple account Dashlets and break them out into these different categories and then set different filters based off the type of data you want listed there. But we'll leave this one alone for now. You can also set how many records you would like to be displayed. So the default is 5, but if you want to see 10 at once, you can set that there. And then if you wanted to have this Dashlet auto refresh, so you didn't have to hit that refresh button manually, you can set that interval here. The next section is the display columns. By default, we have our name, website, phone, and billing country. But sometimes a city and a zip code could be beneficial, say if you had somebody with an ambiguous name and you didn't quite know which account was actually listed. So, using the simple interface of selecting the fields you would like to move over to the display columns, you select them by clicking, and then you hit this left arrow to move them over. And then conversely, if there were any columns that you wanted to remove from the Dashlets, so let's say I'm not concerned with website, I hit website, hit the right arrow, and it pops itself over into this hidden columns box. If there are any columns in this box that you do not see, contact your administrator and they can easily enable them in Studio. So next we'll move on to the filters option. So by default, all of these Dashlets are prefixed with the word My. So By default, they only show the items assigned to you, but you can easily change that by unchecking that box, and we'll see if we hit save here that my 20 records, now unfiltered to just me, now jumped up to 50. So now I'm seeing all 50 accounts in my system rather than just the 20 assigned to me. But I am only concerned with the ones assigned to me. So I'm gonna hit save here, and we'll see that the 50 records from before is now gonna filter back down to 20. So next, let's talk about adjusting the layouts. We already discussed changing the layout to how many Dashlet columns you would like, but what about the positioning of these Dashlets? So it's very easy. Hovering over the title bar of your Dashlet, with a simple click, you'll grab that Dashlet and you'll kind of see a little jagged box of where it used to be, and then any movement around will kind of jump it around to where you want it to be. So if I wanted to switch my closed won opportunities gauge, it's just a simple drag and drop. Your layout has been saved, and now the next time you come to this Dashlet page, your My Accounts Dashlet will be on the right rather than the left. And lastly, let's discuss Dashlet pages. You'll see here that these are the 5 out of the box. But what if you wanted to add your own custom page? By clicking this plus sign, a dialog box will pop up. You give it a distinctive name, so my custom page, and then you decide the layout. So I already told you that my favorite is the 2x2, but let's go with the 3-column layout for this custom page. After clicking save, you'll see that we now have an empty new Dashlet page, and then the next step is to just go through the add sugar Dashlets. And like I said, let's have this page be consolidated of all my accounts, my calls, and we'll go ahead and do my open cases too. And then for fun, when the boss isn't looking, we'll go ahead and add Space Invaders to our Dashlet. Let's go ahead and rearrange our Dashlets so we can see them all on the same screen. So I want my calls to be in the middle, my open cases should be on the far right, and then we'll push Space Invaders down and we'll have my accounts on the left. So you'll see here a lot of the functionality comes with putting a lot of different Dashlets on the same page. So with one simple view into the system, you can see a bunch of different data points at the same time. And then if you're having a stressful day, you can pop down and kill some aliens.